Hey guys, in today's video we're going to go over how to have an iPad control your music gear with Midi. You're going to be sending Midi from an iPad to your devices. If you're looking for a video on how to connect a Midi controller or a Midi keyboard to your iPad in order to play synths and stuff on your iPad, this is not the video for that, and I'll post a link down below where you can find that information. But this is not that video. This video will be about using an iPad to send Midi to your music gear. For this video, I'm going to be controlling an HX Stomp and an iPhone, but you should be able to do this with anything that accepts Midi, either Midi over Bluetooth, Midi over USB, or a standard 5-pin Midi connection. All right, so first let's get connected. So Midi over Bluetooth, I'm going to show you with the iPhone. That's the best way to do it with an iPhone. For the HX Stomp is actually really cool. You can connect via Midi over USB on the top. And it also has inputs for Midi in and out, just a standard 5-pin Midi on the side. So I'm going to show you how to do both. To do Midi over USB, I recommend getting a camera connection kit right here, which turns lightning pin to USB. And then you'll have to look at your device. Most of them are going to accept this type of a cable. It's a USB-A male to USB-B male. It's also sometimes called a printer USB cable. Just make sure you're getting the right one. But you plug the USB side into here, plug the lightning pin into your iPad. I guess that's out of frame, but I mean, you guys should know how to plug in a lightning pin. If not, wireless Midi is going to be way over your head. And then take the USB side and plug that in on the top to the connector, and now you're connected. All right, if you're interested in making a hardwired connection with just a standard 5-pin Midi cable, you're going to need something like the iRig Midi 2 is the one that I recommend. For this video, I'm actually going to be using a wireless Midi by Yamaha. It's really cool. So just plug in, you see where it says in and out. You just plug those into the right ports on your Midi device. Let me plug that in really quick. And it's really cool. It doesn't need any extra power. It gets the power from your device. Super cool. So now let's make a connection. If you're doing hardwired, you can skip this next step. But if you're doing any wireless, either the wireless over Bluetooth or that wireless Yamaha adapter, you're going to need this app. It's called Midi Meter right here. We're going to load that up, and you're going to click down here where it says, hopefully you can see that, advertise, and then you're going to advertise Midi service. So what that's going to do is it's going to set your iPhone up to speak with another Midi device. So on my iPad, I have Midi Meter loaded up. I'm going to click this third button right here, which says devices, and it's going to offer me the option to connect to my iPhone, which I'm going to do. It's also going to give me the option to connect to MD-BT01, which is that wireless Yamaha dongle. So I'm going to go ahead and see I'm connected to both of those. Now we're connected and we can start programming. All right, as for apps, any app that can send Midi information should work. I'm personally going to be using OnSong. OnSong is an incredible app. There's so many things you can do with it. It's mostly used for lyrics and charts and stuff like that. So you have your sets, and then these are the bands I play with. This is my solo set, so it has my chord charts and lyrics in case if I need them. But it's really cool. So I actually set up a little MIDI demo test. This is the one that I used. You can see when I'm pushing these buttons, it's changing the HX Stomp and my iPhone. So I'm going to swipe over to a new one. This is just a blank one that I made. So you can set it so that when you push a sticky note that it sends MIDI information, or you can set it when you swipe to the next song, it will send Midi info for you. So to do that, in the upper right, push the pencil button. It'll bring up this screen. And then in the upper left, push the the information button. And then scroll down to Midi and hit send. You're going to push this plus button at the bottom right. Now here's what you're going to start doing. Now I'm going to change the channel first. So actually, since I'm controlling two devices, you need to set those to read on separate channels. If you're only sending Midi information to one device, you can get away with sending it on all channels, but you should get into the habit of just setting it to a specific channel. So anything that accepts Midi, you can go into its settings in the global settings and set it to only read on a certain channel. So I've set my HX Stomp to read on channel 4. So I'm going to set this to channel 4. Now I'm going to send a program change. And the program change is going to be, I'm just going to send 2. And that's the thing that's nice about OnSong is it has this test command at the bottom. So when I hit test command, you're going to see that's going to change my preset. Now you can see it went to preset 1. The reason why is because see how it's preset 000, but in here it starts at 1, so everything's off by 1. Just something you have to deal with. So if I load preset 2, it's going to load preset 1. That's just the way Midi works. Midi sometimes, some devices read it 0 to 127, some devices read it from 1 to 128, so you just got to get used to that. So I'm going to hit done, and it added that program change. Now I'm going to do a control change. It's already set up on channel 4. Now you're going to have to look at your manual on each of your devices. So I know that the first button is control change 49, second button is control change 50, and the third button is control change 51. So I'm going to set 51, test command, and see how it switched to button 3. So now I'm done. Now on my iPhone, that one is running sample tank. So I'm going to do a program change. I programmed this one to read on channel 3. And in live mode, which I'm in right now, the 8 squares that are available. So program change 1 will load the first square, program change 2 will load the second one, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do number 3, test command, and see how it switched to number 3, which is exactly what I wanted. So now hit done, leave the screen, hit done to save. And now if you watch, so I'm going to swipe over here, I'm going to just change to a different preset. Now when I swipe to the right to the next song, it's going to load exactly what I want. Make sense? And again, you can do the same thing with the sticky note. That's what I really like about OnSong. So if I want to edit the sticky note, so to do the sticky note, you push a sticky note button, hit add sticky note. You tap it once and then hit the pencil tool and it says no action assigned. Push that and you can see all the things that OnSong can do. It's unbelievable. We're going to scroll down till we get to MIDI, events, send, and just the exact same idea. So now let's say I want to send a program change, channel 4, and I want to switch it to preset 15. So now I'm going to hit done, and then hit done. Make sure you hit done to save it. And then get back out, hit done. Now when I tap the sticky note, it changed to a different preset. Make sense? It's pretty cool, all the stuff that OnSong can do. It can also do backing tracks. So as you're playing the backing track, you can say, hey, send this MIDI information at exactly 3 minutes into the song or whatever. So it's unbelievable all the stuff that it can do. So I definitely highly recommend it. So now I'm going to show you how I use it in my setup and then give you some tips. So here's how I use this in my setup. I have my iPad running OnSong. It's connected with the camera connection kit going all the way down here to my HX Stomp, connected up there. I have the MIDI out, just a 5-pin MIDI cable going out into my Roland SPDSX for my drums. It's plugged in back there. And then I also am controlling MIDI over Bluetooth to control my iPhone. And then down here, my TC Helicon, you can see I have the wireless Yamaha one plugged in. So when I perform and I do looping, so when I want to start a song, so I swipe over to the song I need, so here's Enjoy the Silence. It opens my, can you hear that? The choir patch. It set this to the correct one, which this one is the bass, which is what I started with. It sets this, oh, you probably can't read that, there you go. Enjoy the Silence, so it's on the right track, the right tempo, and it set this to the electronic kit. So now, when I swipe over to start December, which is another song I do, it loads of strings on my Rolly keyboard. It's gone to the correct one that I need. On here, it goes to the correct patch on my Voice Live, and it goes to the December patch because it has the bongos and stuff in it. So it just saves a whole lot of time for me. All right, so just a few tips. My first tip is don't be too far from the Bluetooth. If you're connecting your devices, either MIDI over Bluetooth or that Yamaha dongle, which technically turns it into Bluetooth is the way that it's connected. It's not true wireless MIDI, and I'll get to that in a second. But make sure you're not super far away from it. I'd say 15 feet is probably about safe. I have foolishly put it farther than that, and I did lose connection live, so just make sure you're not too far away from it. If you do need to go a lot farther, the two devices that I've seen, I haven't used them, but Midi Beam and then Midi Jet, those are the really good ones that are supposed to go like 100 plus feet. You can look up the specs, but I mean, those are like $200 to $500 for each of those. Another piece of advice, some apps don't really read MIDI as well as you think that they do. Like the Rolly app, I couldn't get that to work at all, so I had to program that using Audio Bus. If you're having trouble programming MIDI in some of your apps, try using Audio Bus. That thing can do so many things with MIDI. It's crazy if you buy that. Next tip, all this stuff that I showed you with connecting over Bluetooth, you can do with your laptop as well. You just have to go into your audio MIDI setup, and then it's the same idea. You set your phone up to advertise in MIDI meter, and then you should be able to find it on your audio MIDI setup in a Mac. And speaking of using your computer, I also made a video on how to send MIDI data from a DAW like Logic, so I'll post a link on where to find that down below. Hope this helped you guys out. See you next time.